Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. That's kind of how I feel about this video. This is my January 2021 beer roundup, and we're going to be focusing on IPAs today. Like, here's the thing. So I've tried to shoot this video a lot, and every time I do, I start to get stressed because it doesn't go very well. So then I have a beer, and then I have another beer, and then it kind of spirals. So we're just gonna try to stay focused because I've got a lot to say. So last year, beer reviews, that was how this channel started. And I kind of want to change the format a little bit for 2021. So each month I'm going to focus on a different style of beer. This month it's IPAs. So I tried a variety of IPAs. I'm going to talk about them in a little bit. But my other goal for 2021 was to visit more local breweries, which I did. I went to Pinthouse Brewery. I went to their new location in South Austin. And I wanted to talk to you guys about it a little bit because it was really cool. It's like one of the best places I've been since the dawn of COVID in terms of like, one, respecting the boundaries of the disease and the rules in place. I think that the space itself really lent itself to this. It was a very open space. They have an outdoor seating area and an indoor seating area. The outdoor seating area has 2-story high, like concrete walls. It's nuts. It's super open and airy and really beautiful. They had hanging swings, and I got a flight. So I want to run you through the beers I tried really fast. I didn't take notes while I was there, so I feel like I don't want to go in depth on them. So the first one that I tried was called the Swelsenor. It was a lighter style of beer. I can't remember the specific variety, but it reminded me a lot of a Hefeweizen. It had banana bread kind of notes. I would give it 3 out of 5 stars. I would drink it again, but it wasn't exceptional. I also tried a beer called the Pasilla Brew. This one was a winter warmer brewed with spruce. I'm not gonna lie, I was very excited because I love pine notes in beer. I thought this was going to be very piney because of the spruce, but instead it actually tasted like cough syrup, and it was like a 1 out of 5. It was not good. I next tried the Mana War. I think this is kind of a play on their Electric Jellyfish IPA. So that's the beer that when I first moved to Austin, everyone told me to try, Electric Jellyfish IPA. So Mana War, I'm guessing, is sort of like a cousin to that. It's also an IPA. It was hazy, it was mouthwateringly juicy, it was really, really good, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I also had another 4 out of 5 star, that was the Bearded Seal. This was a dry Irish stout, and I liked it a lot. We all know I don't like stouts. If you've seen my 7 Stouts in 7 Days video, you know. If you haven't seen that video, you should watch it because it's really good. The Bearded Seal was good because it was very balanced, it was very dry, and it didn't have a lot of dessert elements to it. It kind of just reminded me of like a Guinness, like a craft beer Guinness. And then finally I tried the Brighter Expectations. This one was another IPA, and really all I have to say about it is that it was another IPA. I give it 3 out of 5 stars. It's an IPA. I'd rather drink it than a porter, but it wasn't special, if that makes sense. So without further ado, I'm gonna send it over to other Elena because she has a little bit to say about what is an IPA? In England at the turn of the 18th century, most beer was lightly hopped and low in alcohol, very different from the beer we know today. But there was one man, George Hodgson, who produced a hoppier October beer, which could be aged for up to 2 years. George Hodgson began exporting his beer to India via the East India Trading Company, where it garnered huge success. But unfortunately, Hodgson died, and his son promptly ran the family business into the ground. With demand still high for October beer, the East India Trading Company reached out to other brewers in England to create their own style of October beer. And by the 1840s, October beer, or India Pale Ale as it had begun to be called, was being produced in Canada, America, and Australia. But what is the American IPA of today? Well, most American IPAs tend to hover between 6.3 and 7.5% ABV, 50 and 70 IBU, and they tend to have a high hop flavor with notes of citrus, pine, resin, flowers, and even sulfur. But there are so many subcategories of American IPAs. Brewed IPAs are brewed with an additional enzyme to remove sugar and leave you with a drier finish. Imperial IPAs, first developed by Blind Pig Brewery in 1994, have an alcohol percentage of 7.5% or higher. New England style IPAs, hazy IPAs, and juicy IPAs are essentially one and the same, and are brewed with the addition of dry hops, which are added a few days before bottling and add to the hop flavor and aroma. These New England style IPAs are usually tropical and hazy, as opposed to their West Coast counterparts, which are crisp and clear with high bitterness. Back to you, Elena. Alright, well, thank you, Elena, that was great. If the world only knew how much work you put into that last segment, Jesus Christ. So let's delve into this. Let's talk about the first beer that I tried this month. This is Modern Times Spaceways beer. This is, I think, the first Modern Times beer that I tried. This is a brewery that's based in San Diego. This was a hazy IPA. I felt like it tasted good. It tasted kind of mango-y to me. It also, I feel like it had like a, you know, like the smell of like a hyacinth or a lilac, that like very floral smell. This beer tasted like that, but unfortunately the actual smell of the beer was kind of cat pissy. I would give this beer 3 out of 5 stars. It was okay. Next, let's talk about the Alaskan Brewing Co. Husky IPA. So this brewery, Alaskan, came out with a Baltic Porter this month that I contemplated trying, but I didn't. But I wanted to try something from them. I thought that the flavor profile was pretty standard for an IPA, you know, like a little bit of stone fruit, a little bit of pine, like it felt really normal. What was weird about it was the finish. It kind of had a dry, powdery finish. Like it felt like baby powder in your mouth at the end. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars as well. It was just okay, but I would like to try more from them because I just think it's kind of cool that Alaska has beer. Avery Brewing's Double Digit Hazy IPA. This is an Imperial IPA, so it is 10% ABV. Kind of similar to the Alaskan. This one had a really like citrusy, nice smell, flavor, but it also finished kind of weird for me. There was a weird note on like the back end of this beer. I couldn't really find a good word for it, but it did finish a little strange. But I did like it. I would drink this again. I think this one is a 4 out of 5. I think it's pretty good, especially for an Imperial, to be really drinkable without being like overbearing. I want to talk about a beer that has a lot of hype online. This is Maine Beer Company's Lunch IPA. This beer is so talked about online, it's kind of unbelievable. And I have a little bit of a funny story with this one. So I tried it initially and I was like, what the hell? Like, this is not special, this is not different, there's nothing about this. It just tasted really bland. And so I actually went out and for $7.99 a pop, I grabbed another. I'm actually very glad that I did because I thought that the second time around, this beer exhibited perfect balance between citrus, pine, and like floral flavors. It is like everything anyone would ever want in an IPA and was so good. So I don't know if I just had the first one at a weird time, maybe with food or after another beer and I didn't like it as much, or if there was something wrong with it. But second go around, this was great. This is like a 5 out of 5, a really, really good IPA. I'm not gonna throw it though, because it's a very heavy glass. And then let's talk about the Blue Owl Brewing's Spirit Animal Sour Pale Ale. So I know this isn't an IPA, but it's a pale ale, so it's similar enough. It was really cool. Like, it kind of had the sourness of like a Berliner Weisse, but it finished with a pale ale flavor similar to the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale that I'm currently drinking. So it was kind of the best of both worlds. It was a very split drinking experience, but it progressed really naturally, and I would give this one 4 out of 5 stars. And then finally, this is kind of my wild card. This isn't really on theme at all, but this is the Blue Owl Brewing's Plum de Plume. This is a plum jam and orange marmalade sour. To be honest with you, I think it's the sage in it, but the smell of this beer is kind of like the smell of a hippie shop. I'm thinking like Jamaica Junction in State College. It was very disappointing to me. I was very excited. It definitely has some citrus to it. It has almost no plum. Yeah, I don't know. I was disappointed by this one. I would give it a 2 out of 5. And that's all of the new beer that I tried this month. That's it. I remember back when I was doing 15 beers in a month. This month I tried 6 new beers, plus what I tried at the brewery, but we're not counting that. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of liked focusing on IPAs. Let me know if you guys like this sort of reformat I'm doing here. I hope this video is a little more engaging than some of my beer reviews in the past, and hopefully it's not 17 minutes long. So I'm gonna go before it is 17 minutes long, and see me next week for something else really cool. I'm very excited about the next video I'm gonna shoot, so bye.